Did you know that the third largest naval base of our country is located within my Senate district?
Crane.
Did you know that they employ thousands of engineers and mathematicians and scientists and accountants?
Yes.
Are you aware that this bill will keep any of them from running for school board?
I am.
I've had numerous current school board members tell me they've reached out to attorneys who feel that the Hatch Act would also require them to resign their position. Of the ones I recall reaching out to me, they all told me they were Republicans, but it doesn't matter. It would be the same issue whether it was Republican or Democrat. I don't think that's a good approach to broadening the pool of candidates, but current office holders in particular.
There is one school district, Senator, in particular, that 4 of its members work at Crane. And so if this bill passes, they won't be able to work it. They won't be able to continue to be school board members. That would be very detrimental to that particular school, but it will also be detrimental to other schools in my district.
And my concern is we are going to eliminate a whole slew of people from even being able to run for school board because of this Hatch Act.
Yeah, for government employees is what you're talking about,
and
right?
actually I'm glad you said that, because the Hatch Act actually restricts the political activity of individuals principally employed by the state, District of Columbia, or local executive agencies. And people specifically ask, can I do this? For example, if they work for FEMA, the answer is no. If they work for the post office, the answer is no. We have traditionally talked about veterans or military officials, right, like our National Guard. We have a very large National Guard base in my neck of the woods. But did you know that if their programs are financed in whole or part by federal loans or grants? So that could be, for example, our local housing authority. That could be, we get block grants. And so that can go in my neck of the woods. Block grants have gone to groups like the Boys and Girls Clubs. They could go to totally nonpartisan agencies. If your position with a unit of government or not a unit of government is primarily funded by a federal grant, the Hatch Act covers you. This bill passes, you can't run for school board. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah.
It's difficult enough for school corporations to get people to run for school board, and maybe even more so in small town Indiana.
But I also want to say there's a barrier we're now putting to ordinary people who've never participated in political party politics, who may not know which party they're affiliated with or who their chairman is. And I guarantee you most of the people who start off probably don't know what their national party planks are. That's irrelevant. What I think is more important is when we talk about these small township trustees and advisory boards, sometimes they're desperate to find candidates. And we're just going to try to make this more partisan in places where I think they're doing a good job.
41 states have nonpartisan races. The states that have made their school board elections partisan have seen an increase in national political groups spending big money on local races and turning school board meetings into shouting matches instead of policy discussions.
To the previous comments about moms, yeah. We're the Tigers, we fight for our kids, and that's what we want to do when we run for school board. But if I had run for school board and I had to get through a primary, and God bless my husband, because he put the signs out, and he went on call at night, and then he checked all the signs, I don't know if I would have wanted to then up it again and run for the general election as well. It's expensive to run for office, and it's getting more and more expensive. And the nice thing when I ran is it didn't matter. It was just a bunch of other moms and people I knew helping me. And that's what I don't want to see taken away.
Hoosiers do not want this. The Ball State Bowen Center did a survey in 2024. Only 27% of Hoosiers actually support making school board elections partisan.
You can probably tell by now that I'm opposed to this bill.
So for my significant concerns about the large ramifications of the Hatch Act and how many programs are funded by federal dollars, we're talking about road construction, for example. So for those broad reasons and from other reasons, I'm against this. Thank you.
I'll be voting no today.
My fellow senators, I simply ask you not to do this to the schools in my Senate district.